Hello and welcome everyone to the week ahead commodity report, where we of course will be reviewing the markets for the week ahead. Historically, the final stretch of the calendar between Thanksgiving to the end of the year, that has always been considered one of the most profitable periods of the year for commodity traders. Based on how this quarter is already going, once again, this year should be no exception. As we transition through the final quarter of 2022, we are heading into a lucrative and event-driven period with a magnitude of back-to-back trading opportunities, including the final FOMC minutes release of the year, the final FOMC policy meeting of the year, and the final US employment report of the year, as well as final inflation report data, all topped off with the most hotly anticipated event of all, the potential Fed pivot away from aggressive interest rate hikes as we move into December. There's no question that 2022, that will go down in history as one of the most profitable years ever for commodity traders. So far this year, a total of 27 commodities, ranging from the metals to the energies to agriculture, they have tallied up astronomical record-breaking gains, outperforming every other asset class out there. In fact, this quarter we have already seen a number of commodities notching up impressive double-digit gains in a single day alone, not once, not twice, but on multiple occasions. Take the previous week, for example. Every possible commodity imaginable, from aluminium to copper to palladium to platinum to gold to silver to lumber to zinc to crude oil to natural gas, prices, they surged following the release of the US consumer price inflation data, with a long list racking up spectacular gains of 10% or higher literally in a single day. The exact same thing happened the previous week, following on from the US employment report data. And yes, you guessed it, the week before that too, following on from the Bank of Japan's currency intervention. Right now, these markets, they're presenting traders with an endless flow of back-to-back trading opportunities to generate incredible gains of 10% or higher in a single week, sometimes in a single day. In today's inflation-adjusted terms, your money sat in the bank account will not even make that level of return in the next year, let alone in the next 3 or 5 years from now. Whichever way you look at it, there's really nothing historical you can point to what is going on in the markets today. The current macroeconomic backdrop is fueling one of the greatest wealth transfers of our lifetime, presenting savvy traders with back-to-back money-making opportunities on a consistent week-to-week basis. The great news is this trend is here to stay and set to continue throughout this year, way into 2023. After an explosive start to November, commodity prices across the board, they pulled back last week amid a routine profit taking as traders square up ahead of Thanksgiving. Throughout this month's reports, we have continued to highlight the commodity markets will move in very predictable trends, bringing with it a treasure trove of highly lucrative week-to-week opportunities. Once again, everything we identified with you has played out as predicted. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citigroup, they have been prepping their clients for what they expect could be one of the most profitable quarters ever seen. In recent weeks, Morgan Stanley, BlackRock, Bank of America, they joined a long list advising their clients to rotate capital into commodities now, ready for a massive Christmas bonus. The current pullback in commodity prices now, that lays up the groundwork for a spectacular end-of-year rally that traders will not want to miss out on. According to the Bloomberg Global Wealth Report, 2022, that will go down in history for creating more multimillionaires and billionaires out of regular people compared to any other time in modern history. The only question is, will you be one of them? My advice to you right now is do not underestimate what you can achieve in the next 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and even 12 months from now. Right now at the Gold and Silver Club, we are consistently banking over 10,000 points profit per month, which we are transparently documenting throughout our weekly videos. If you're trading at 1 lot, that's $100,000, and if you're trading at 10 lots, that's $1 million. The majority of our clients at the Gold and Silver Club are utilizing our proprietary research-driven trading approach. They've already made in excess of 6 and 7 figures so far this year, and we still have another 1 month and a half to go. Here are just some of the testimonials which have been flooding in from our clients. sharing their successes and achievements. If you want to make the rest of 2022 and beyond your best and most profitable years ever, then you still have time. Just go to www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com now to learn how our mentorship program can take your trading to the next level. So with that, let's move over to the charts and we'll talk you through exactly what we're looking at here as we go into next week. So firstly, to kick things off, definitely go back and watch last week's report where we talked through from the beginning of the week, we were expecting metals to tank, essentially, and we've seen exactly that play out. If you have a look, for example, at platinum here, over the last week, platinum has tanked almost 1,000 points. Gold, of course, that has broken down over 400 points. We've seen silver here break down over 3% to the downside. Palladium prices, they dropped 4%, and also copper broke down 7%, and also oil as well broke down over 11% in the last week. So essentially everything we expected with you, which was for the dollar to catch a bid to start build up momentum after we'd seen one of the biggest sell-offs since 1992 for the dollar index in a single week. We're now starting to see the dollar turn as we get closer towards Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and the end of the month, where you're typically going to get that end of month profit taking and outflows, which sets up for some really nice opportunities here to continue to take advantage of pressure to the downside on the metals, then look to reverse position once we head into some very specific cycles for December. So let me talk you through how we traded this in the last week. So essentially we built into multiple positions on the sell side on platinum. Now bear in mind, this is after we've already banked a lot of profit on the buy side, where we were buying at the beginning of October, just as the Bank of England came in with quantitative easing to support the market. That propelled platinum significantly higher. We've essentially seen over a 2,000 point breakout to the upside, which, as you know, we continue to capitalize on and accumulate positions over that period to bank a windfall amount of profit at the end of the month as we moved into November. But now we've essentially reversed position to capitalize on the breakdown in price that we're expecting to accelerate as we go into next week. In fact, you can see here our overall expectation with platinum, we're about halfway there now. We in fact took the opportunity just last week to bank another 500 points on one of our sell shorts here on platinum. All of our sell shorts on this market, we have multiple trades, they are all in profit. This is exactly the same for gold, which we sold into last week, and we've essentially closed limit down at the weekly and daily lows here on Friday. Gold price is breaking down almost 1%, and we've been capitalizing on this move on both sides though. The previous week, as we mentioned to you, we made sure we banked our profits here with silver. So on the breakout that we had to the upside, over a 285 point breakout from our entries, we are all the way in down here at $16.69 per ounce, and yet again above $18 per ounce of our second entry. We've now taken the opportunity to bank a windfall amount of profit on those multiple trades, and essentially after we've banked profit, we're now looking to rotate that profit into the dollar index and also capitalizing on pressure that we're getting to the downside on platinum and also gold at the moment. As you know, palladium, the previous week, we took advantage of a 3,000 point impulse move higher just within the matter of 5 days there, grabbing the liquidity zone down towards $1,800 per ounce. What you have to be mindful of in these markets, if you do get a 3-day impulse move to the upside, and if you're making over 10%, for example, in 3 to 5 days, you have to be quick to lock in those profits, because very quickly, these parabolic and exponential moves to the upside, they can be given back just as quickly in the market. So essentially, we banked profit at 2,100 for 3,000 points profit on palladium. We still have a little bit of exposure left, which is protected, but the majority of the profit has been banked here at the upper end of the range. And now essentially palladium prices, they broke down 2,000 points towards the end of last week, 4% move to the downside, which, as you know, we're capitalizing on by selling short platinum. We're also selling short gold, and we've flipped for a long position here on multiple trades with the dollar index as well, which we're capitalizing on, especially into Friday's close. You can see where the dollar started to pick up that momentum. We're expecting higher prices here for the dollar going into next week, and more pressure essentially on many commodities. You can already see copper prices, they broke down 8% to the last week. You can see the overall trajectory we are expecting for this market. It's noteworthy as well that commercials and hedgers in the market, they have started to significantly pull profit from these markets over the last couple of weeks. We have seen immense moves to the upside here. So copper prices, they broke out to the highest level since June. We saw a breakout all the way to 3.9. This is where we continue to make sure we scaled out on banking profits. But now we're seeing the usual outflows that you get at the end of the month as you get to Thanksgiving, Black Friday, the very typical playbook here. So you want to trade both sides of the market, capitalize on the immense breakouts we've had to the upside, and now reverse position, bank your profits, and then start to capitalize on the sell side as well as we move into the end of the month and then into December as well. Crude oil, as I mentioned before, definitely worth having on the radar. I discussed with you previously in the USA, the Biden administration, they have made it very clear that they are looking to restock their strategic reserves on a move back down towards $70 per barrel. We've seen a lot of pressure on oil in the lead up to the midterm elections and again last week as well. And what did we see last week? We saw over 11% decline to the downside, and I still wouldn't rule out a further move back down towards $70 per barrel. But once we get towards those levels, those are going to be zones of interest, particularly if we do see strategic reserves in the USA start to get filled up once we get down towards $70 per barrel. If you start seeing massive buy pressure at that level, or even if that level gets front run, for example, we may just start to get a bid around 75 down towards 72 or $73 per barrel. That's absolutely one to have on the radar, especially as you get towards the end of the month, which typically is quite bearish for energy prices. But then as you move into December, you can see completely different cycles start to develop. So with that, definitely have oil on the radar going into next week. That would be similar for copper as well. As you know, with the new COVID cases that we've seen start to accelerate in China, that's also created some short-term demand destruction for both copper prices, energy prices, where there is a correlation between those markets. And absolutely, I would keep an eye out for potentially lower prices for copper between now and the end of the month. But again, setting up for some fantastic opportunities as we get towards the final month of the year and then moving into 2023 to really hit the ground running and maximize on these opportunities that you have just week to week in the commodity markets. As you know, we have entered a new economic climate, and the importance of having an essential income generating skill like trading, that has become a must-have necessity. If you want to actually reach your long-term financial goals in these rapidly changing markets, then you can't just stockpile cash in a savings account, because rapidly surging inflation, that will erode your wealth and purchasing power. Instead, you need to make your money work as hard for you as you've worked hard for it. One of the biggest obstacles that holds back 99% of retail traders from achieving their desired success, it's not having access to the correct professional strategies, institutional level data, and market intelligence to make confident decisions with accuracy in these fast moving and highly lucrative markets. There is a huge gap between the top 1% of professional traders and the bottom 99% of misguided retail traders who simply rely on outdated technical analysis and gimmicky technical indicators that simply do not work in these market conditions. If you want to get yourself out of the bottom 99% and into the top 1% who are actually crushing it and making 6, 7, and 8-figure returns in these markets right now, then you need to utilize a professional, research-driven approach, or you'll end up wasting lots of time, money, and effort, and you'll have no results to show for all of your hard work. In these fast-moving markets, technical analysis and outdated technical indicators, they will not work. Those days, they're long gone. If that's all you're relying on, the odds are already stacked up against you massively. If you want to change your results, then you have to change your thinking. If you want to learn our exclusive, research-driven approach to the markets that is never taught to retail traders and only reserved for professional traders in banks, hedge funds with access to powerful game-changing insights, including where banks and hedge funds, they're buying and selling in real time, the key liquidity zones so you can enter and exit the markets with pinpoint precision, fundamentals, macroeconomics, the capital flows, understanding and learning the daily, the weekly, the monthly, and quarterly real-time data-driven cycles alongside the intermarket correlations and ratios in the market, then you need to join our mentorship program. As we transition through the final quarter, we are now in one of the most lucrative event-driven periods of the year, and if you want to successfully capitalize on these huge money-making opportunities ahead and build significant life-changing wealth, then there is no better time than now. If you want to upgrade your income, then you have to upgrade your skills. Never underestimate what you can achieve in the next few months from now with the right guidance and mentorship. Time is the most valuable commodity that we have. Make sure that you don't waste it. If you want to join our community of successful traders and take your trading to the next level, there is an opportunity for you to do so. As a member, you get access to our exclusive live trading room webinars. You get access to real-time trade ideas, access to institutional research and market intelligence, access to our private members academy website, and also support and one-to-one mentoring. For more information, just go to www.jointhelivetradingroom.com. The link is also below this report in the description, so just click on the link, make an application, and we will of course get in touch with you ASAP.